How's it going, everyone? My name is Maximilian, and you're watching episode 38 of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, The Online Warrior. What's up, everyone? Max here, back once again with more episodes of Ultimate Marvel 3, The Online Warrior. I know a bunch of you guys might have been getting worried. It's been a few weeks now since the last episode of TOW for this game. And no worries, I have no plans to stop this series at all. It was just over the past few weeks, I had a week of learning a new character, some time spent trying to divulge into that character, figure out how they work, figuring out a new team, and then right after that, Street Fighter Cross Tekken comes out with a bunch of new characters that I really wanted to play, and then Persona comes out, and it's like learning a whole new fighting game, as well as doing a lot of other stuff on the side, other than just playing games. Didn't have much time to go about making some videos for this, but this is going to be kind of a special series of videos going from this point forward around the next, I would say 2 or 3 videos, is going to be following my progression to First Lord. Now, for some of you guys that are seeing the title of this video, and you're asking, so what is it about keeping goals in fighting games, or competitive gaming in general, that's really important? I think when it comes to certain aspects of training, if you're bad at something, setting a goal is one of the most important things you can do, whether it's in real life or competitive fighting games. You set a goal and you do your best to make time to investigate and put dedication to that goal, and eventually come out with a good result. This is like in training mode, if you're having trouble blocking like Wesker mix-ups, you just set the AI to play Wesker, or you set yourself to record Wesker, and you essentially just put yourself in the same mix-up over and over again until it becomes not so foreign, until you just feel like, oh, this is a natural situation for me. The same thing goes when it comes to setting a goal for like something big competitive-wise. In the scale of Ultimate Marvel 3 Online, this game can be pretty difficult online, so I always had this goal of getting at least back to the First Lord rank that I was in the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So I've definitely played Ultimate a lot more than the first one, and here's where I kind of want to get some of your opinions after this about how Ultimate Marvel 3's online really works. So I finally got to First Lord. It's taken me like somewhere around 1,000 games or so, maybe more. I think I'm around maybe 1,200, 1,300. And my win record is something around 65%. That's not all that important to me, because a lot of the time when I play Ultimate Marvel 3 Online, it comes with huge gaps. Like I don't play for like 2 weeks or a week or 3 weeks or even longer sometimes in between play sessions, and I have to try to like reacquaint myself with the game. A lot of the times, if you guys want to dedicate yourself to a certain fighting game and getting good at that fighting game, it's really good just to play it for every day, to play it at least every day, because I feel when I play Ultimate Marvel 3 or any fighting game for more than just like a single day, or more than just like a couple of hours within a day, I actually feel myself improving really quick, and it happens that fast. That's where a goal can be set for you guys that are looking into getting into a certain fighting game, especially games like Ultimate Marvel 3, is just invest the time, whether it's going into training mode, trying out combos, jumping in online and playing like 10 to 20 matches, which will take you like, what, 30 to 40 minutes? It doesn't take that long. It's something that just gets you familiarized with it, and the more it becomes not foreign, the more you just feel like you're in the game and you're just controlling the characters. And like I said, with previous fighting games and the fighting game genre in general, that is a really good feeling. So I set this goal to get to First Lord, and as you can tell right now, I am Second Lord. My bar on the First Lord scaling, like if you guys look at the Ultimate Marvel 3 gauges, how much levels you have, it's really weird. It's kind of hard to tell how long you are from getting your next rank, how close you are, because I've been sitting at the end of this bar for like what seems like forever now, and I seem to have been First or Second Lord for a really long time. But through this progression, I had a goal one night, whereas I just sat down for like 6-7 hours, and I just hammered on the game online to see if I can finally get past this ranking. So through the results of all this, that was my goal, to try to get back to First Lord. And it's a hard goal. It's very challenging, because in a game like Ultimate Marvel 3 Online, the ranking system for this game, I think, is absolutely brutal. Like, it's really brutal to get past some of the higher ranks, like even 4th Lord, with anything better than like a 50% win ratio. It can be very hard for anybody that's going just like 1-1 to get past that. You almost have to be going positive. You almost have to be having like a 2-to-1 ratio to actually be getting anywhere. Sure, guys that go to like 4-to-1 will get to High Lord and stuff like that really fast, but if your goal is to rank up in Ultimate Marvel 3 Online and you actually want to see your rank increase, that's kind of what you got to do. You have to go at least 2-to-1, and it's still going to take you a long time, or go to something like 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 That means winning 4 games and only losing once, and that has to be your balance. That has to be the median of which how many games you play. That's tough. That is, in a game like Ultimate Marvel 3, this game is extremely random offline. A lot of professional players actually have recently stated certain things towards this game, like Combo Fiend, that they really don't like Ultimate Marvel 3 because of how random it is and how much crazy stuff it is in the game. A lot of us really enjoy the crazy factor, and it makes it really fun to watch. But I can definitely sympathize with his feelings, but you add that factor into the fact that you have an online ability, and the online for Ultimate Marvel 3, as we all know, is pretty bad. When you compare it to other fighting games, it's not that good, and it's probably the fastest paced of all fighting games right now, as far as like trying to block all this crazy stuff and get out of mix-ups and recognize situations. When you have like a little bit of lag, it can make it really tedious. So setting a goal is really important in these situations, where if you want to hit something, you do it. If you want to go to tournaments, you go to tournaments. If you want to hit a certain rank online, you keep playing until you hit that rank. And that's kind of what I was going for here in this series. So over the next, like I was saying, 2 or 3 videos, I'm going to be making some Road to First Lord videos. That'll pretty much going through my progression at the end of Second Lord, going into First, and kind of showing you how tough it can be, and what you kind of need to do to get to it, because like I was saying, the game doesn't describe this stuff to you. You see this really arbitrary bar that barely moves every once in a while, and eventually the game will tell you you're about to rank up. It'd be really nice if the game actually said you need to win this many games and you need to not lose this many times. That'd be really good if it actually let you know how well you need to perform. So here's to hoping that stuff like that does appear in later Capcom fighting games that are online. I really hope so, because it can be very frustrating where you get to your rank up fight and you lose that fight, for example, which will happen in this Road to First Lord series, and you are extremely disappointed, and it's like, well, where did my rank up go? And it takes forever to get back to it. So it just kind of goes to show you that having that 2-to-1, 3-to-1, or 4-to-1 ratio is going to be very important if you actually plan to rank up in a game like Ultimate Marvel 3, especially to the First Lord and above ranks. But the other thing I really quickly wanted to talk about during this video was some of the thought process behind choosing certain characters and the motivation to win. So there's a big difference when it comes to certain people's personalities as far as like playing fighting games, like whether your motivation to win is to go towards, you know, Evo and win the big thing at Evo and become the best at the game. If you're planning on doing stuff like that, you have to pick the best of what the game has to offer to you. You have to pick the best characters, you got to pick a top tier, as many would say. And a lot of people stick with the younger characters, stick with the characters that have not had a lot of development, are technically the low tier ones, the ones you don't see all the time. And that's kind of me personally. I like seeing that stuff the most. The characters I use are definitely kind of like a pretty big variety. A lot of them are on the mid-range to high tier, but I kind of like just picking the characters I want to use. Nonetheless, when it comes to selecting the characters you like versus the characters you want to win with, that's very different, and both of them should be respected. A lot of people on my videos tend to bash people that use, like Wesker, that use Virgil, or anything like the top tier assortment of characters, but you gotta realize that when people are playing these games, especially in a competitive environment, they want to win. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to win. If you beat somebody using a crazy team of like Spider-Man, Tron, and Thor, the audience is going to go flippin' insane, and everyone's going to want you to win Evo. Everyone's going to want to see you get on the stage and kick the crap out of everyone else, but it's probably not going to happen. Fair enough, when that does happen, it's really exciting, but it happens so few and far in between because there's a pretty large majority of this cast that is very good, which I'm actually happy with. It's a lot better than Marvel 2, where a small percentage of the cast was very good. We have at least like a quarter to a third of the roster in Ultimate Marvel 3 are really good characters, and you can't really bash people for playing like a third of the roster. So just some food for thought. Anybody that actually goes into watching competitive games, you have to look at the drive. You have to look at what the people are going for in these situations. And if you come into a competitive scene and you see a bunch of people using like Weskers and Virgils and Phoenix and Zero and all this stuff, sure, like I hate the characters myself because they're really hard to beat. Then in the hands of skilled players, they're almost impossible to beat, and you have to be in very specific situations or scenarios. So it's one of those situations where you gotta just look at what the guys are playing through, or the guys that are playing are coming from. They want to win. They're going for a prize pool. Some of these guys do this professionally, and this is how they actually earn their keepsake. So you got to realize that in those situations they really want to go for the gold, and using characters that'll more assist them and getting them towards that goal is really good too. Now don't make this think like I'm advocating that everybody go and use Wesker, everybody go and use Phoenix, everybody go and use Virgil. It's not even that. I just advocate people using the characters they want to use, because when you get into fighting games, that's one of the hardest things of starting off with a fighting game, is figuring out who do I want to pick to eventually be decent with. And over the long run, if you choose a character that is like naturally good, a character that a lot of people are using and have been using for a long time and already has, you know, kind of a substantial fan base of people that are top tier with the character, and you see that, you get this choice of using that character and kind of not being happy. It depends on how much your drive is to win. So when I play online, I'll admit, a lot of the times I do want to win sometimes, so I will switch to my quote-unquote main team, which is Wesker on point, Dr. Doom second, and Strider Hiryu third. That's what I really want to win, and you'll actually see this happen at several points throughout this video. But a lot of people consider that team cheap. They think Wesker on point is a ridiculously powerful character, Doom's foot dive makes him one of the best in the game, and Strider level 3 X Factor is one of the most ridiculous, hardest things to deal with in Ultimate Marvel 3. But that's kind of the point, you know? When it comes to these situations where you want to win, you want to get that victory, you want to go 2-1, and you don't want to have to, you know, finally have to, like, play 40 other games to catch up to the ranks in Ultimate Online, you want to eventually get it. And, sometimes playing those characters is fun to me, too, because I actually kind of like all three of those characters, so... Nonetheless, we're in this situation now where a lot of people are kind of getting upset at others using certain characters, and... Just put yourself in their shoes. Like, you got to see something from the perspective of somebody else. Just throw yourself into somebody else's shoes and realize that while they're a hardcore competitive gamer, they probably really want to win. Although, what's great is that you get the guys that are really attached to characters, that are really like using a specific character, and will use that character to the very end. These are called character loyalists, and you've probably heard me talk about this a lot, because I kind of consider myself to be one. No matter how good or bad the character ends up being in certain games, like Ken, for example. So, when you get character loyalists that use one specific character or a group of characters, like Ultimate Marvel, like Abijin or something like that, you know, it's really, it's exciting, man. It's one of the most fun things to watch in Ultimate, as far as I am concerned. This is just me, as far as what I like to see. I like to see underdogs, and I like to see underdog characters and teams. But a lot of high-level competitive guys, they like to see, like, you know, you should pick Wesker, man. Why aren't you picking Wesker? Why aren't you picking Virgil? Why aren't you picking Zero? Like, they will ask these competitors why they aren't picking these characters, because those characters are much better. Like, for example, like, Magneto does almost everything better than a lot of other characters that have rushdown and projectiles. Like, Magneto is the pinnacle of that, and he does great damage, great output, a great level 3, great keep away, and amazing combos. So it's just one of those things where you gotta look at the situation and realize this guy wants to win. That's why he's using Magneto, because his synergy with Dr. Doom with hidden missiles is really good. Or, you know, Filipino champ eventually switching from Phoenix to Dormammu was kind of a questionable thing in EVO, because it was like, is he a character loyalist towards Dormammu? Because he more seems like one towards Phoenix, and I think in that situation he was going towards what he thought would win. He has a Dormammu team, and as cheap as it is, like, this Dormammu team is cheap, because his Dormammu is pretty much a Blackheart of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Situations like that where you see stuff that you haven't seen before, and that in itself became exciting, even though in his mind he was going for the win. It's EVO. Doesn't matter how you get there. You know, Viscant used Phoenix to get to EVO, but he won. He was the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 champion for a year straight. The best there is at the game. So, it's something just to take into consideration. Give it a thought when you're choosing your characters, as far as what are your motivations. Is your motivation to win, or is your motivation to have fun, play the game, and enjoy the characters you're using? And is winning with those characters feel better than using, you know, other characters that are supposedly really good? But, yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and some of the games in the background had been with a team that I'm not that great with yet. This was right after I first used the, Captain America, Sentinel, and Strider team, so the synergy of this team isn't very good, I'll admit. Like, Captain America kind of eats all the meter, because he does great meter with a DH Siege Sentinel, and Strider ends up not having much in the very end, so this team doesn't actually work. I think I might actually switch in Dr. Doom instead of Strider in this situation, but I just hate not using Strider. I'm also trying to find ways to put Strider on point, and make that easier online. And that's the biggest thing, is that the gameplays you guys are watching is online. It's in an environment where the netcode is not optimal, and there is a severe delay behind doing attacks. And like you saw with that Strider combo video, and I just threw out like a Strider combo that I had seen for a long time and wanted to try. I don't really get much of a chance to train up and practice in offline environments because I don't get much time to go to tournaments and stuff like that, or play casually. So when I play online, like in the brief times I have, which are in the wee hours of the morning sometimes, pulling off those combos does not seem like the best idea, or going for them doesn't seem like the best idea under certain network conditions. So that's another thing. You got to look at, how good the stability of the connection is, and wow, is this worth it? If I try to go for this crazy awesome thing, am I gonna die? Stuff like that. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the matches throughout the week. I'll be back with more Ultimate Marble 3 gameplay leading up to the road to First Lord, and so you can see how rough that road actually is. My name is Maximilian, and I'll see you next time.